Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Off-Farm Income Podcast. Hey, thank you so much for joining us here on our YouTube channel for episode number 981. Well, today we are going to enter the world of livestock shows. A really interesting interview with the Stock Market Boutique. We're going to be speaking with Olivia Warren, her daughter, Tori Warren, and her boyfriend, Kyle Blades, the two owners and one principal social media marketer and model for the Stock Market Boutique. Now, this is such an interesting business because they find themselves going to stock shows all the time, raising kids, having kids. Tori shows animals and all of that. And then they notice these different opportunities, these different marketing and business opportunities there at the stock shows. And I've run into this before. One time when we talked about the Fit Stock Show Mom, when Dolly Denson came on the show. This is years ago, and she had noticed that so many people going to stock shows, they ate what was available to them at stock shows, and she came up with a way to help people who were taking their kids to stock shows all the time stay, healthy, eat better. Well, in the same way, the Stock Market Boutique developed to sell fashion and clothing to these exhibitors who, let's face it, they're there, they've got time to kill, and they like what they see, what other people are wearing at the stock shows, and they are there to service them. It's a really interesting business. I'm excited to profile it for you, and we're going to get it started for you right now. All right, the Stock Market Boutique. Everybody is with us. Welcome to the show. Thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you.
You bet. Well, let's hurry and quick and introduce everybody. So, who do we have here? Kyle, why don't you start? You introduce yourself, and we'll work our way across the screen here.
I'm Kyle Blades.
I'm Olivia Warren.
And I'm Tori Warren.
All right. Well, thank you all. And you are you all three owners of the Stock Market Boutique?
Livy and I own that together.
Okay. And Tori, you're doing the modeling. Did I read that on the information?
Yeah, I pretty much do the modeling. I do all the social media. I do a lot of it, but they are the backbones pretty much.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Well, this is really cool. Where are we talking to you from? Where are you all at?
Crawfordsville, Indiana.
Okay. So in Indiana. And tell us the relationships between everybody here.
Tori is my daughter.
Okay.
And Kyle is my boyfriend. And we all live here. We live together, and we have the boutique kind of in a trailer and the farm shop outside.
Okay. So it's in a trailer in the farm shop, and I'm assuming it's in a trailer because you're going to shows and things like that?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I am eager to learn about this. So let's start off like this. We already know you're in Indiana. Olivia, we'll just have you take this one. Tell me about your all's involvement in agriculture and all of that, and then we'll get into the business after that.
We've all been tenure 4-H members. Kyle farms. Tori's at Purdue in the School of Ag. I have been in 4-H myself, and I obviously help Kyle do some things, not a lot. I've shown animals. And then we started this about 18 months ago to basically for the National FFA Convention to have a store at Circle Center Mall in Indianapolis in what would have been 19. It just kind of evolved from there.
Okay, interesting. Tori, what are you majoring in at Purdue?
I major in animal sciences.
Ah, okay, a fellow animal science major. Only my degree is like 30 years outdated now. Okay, that's great. And then, Kyle, what kind of farming are you doing?
We raise mainly corn, soybeans. We do raise a little wheat, and we raise a few hogs.
Okay, a little wheat and a few hogs. What? Whose seed do you use for your corn and your soybeans?
Pioneer, predominantly.
I do a Pioneer podcast. I'm all about promoting Pioneer here.
But I grow here, so we're good.
All right, very good. Well, that's awesome. I'm happy to meet all three of you and to find out about everything that you're doing. So you've got a business, the Stock Market Boutique. Now, I think this is going to be the first time that I've really profiled a business like this. Olivia, why don't you kind of take the ball and run with it here? Tell me about the business. What is it you do, and how do you sell your products?
Okay, we have mostly women's clothing. We started to get a little bit of kids' clothes. We do sell Hey Dude shoes. I don't know if you've heard of them or not. They're popular in our area. We do have those for men. We go to mostly livestock shows. I've done a few like local events here that were like the local greenhouse had an event that I went to, but mostly we go to livestock shows, set up the trailer. We've been at NFR. Last year, the stock market went to Louisville. It went to the Arizona Nationals. It went to Denver and some shows in California. Lately, we just went to a pig show in Ohio, and we've got a couple things we're going to, hopefully, if they happen.
Okay. Yeah. COVID can't be easy on your business, I would assume.
No, it's not.
Okay. And now you have an online presence as well. Obviously, my producer, Elliot, found you on Instagram and all your pictures and things there. Are you selling online, doing e-commerce as well?
Yes, we do.
Okay. So
we have an online store. It's listed on the Instagram page. We found we do better when we do a live show, or actually a live show in person.
Okay. Live show in person. Interesting. And so is it agricultural fashion? But based on women's tastes?
It's show, I guess what I would call show clothes.
We try to cater to the, like say, obviously Tori shows, both of my boys show at not only 4-H, but a lot of national and open shows. And we try to, we know all the people, or not all the people, but we have very good relationships and a lot of common ground with those people.
Mm-hmm.
And we try to cater to the same people that are like us. I don't know if that sounds right. That's probably not a good way to term it, but they do the same things we do.
Sure.
We have interest. And that's what the inventory is geared toward, hopefully, is people that are going to go to the show ring and that style.
Got it. Okay. All right. So, well, I want to get to the origins of the business here in a second, but I got to talk about the name. The name is great. The Stock Market Boutique. That's a play on like 3 different things. That's super clever. Who came up with that?
That was so when this started, there were and I'm just going to say a group of people that had an idea. And at the beginning of this, there were 3 or 4 different vendors involved in this. And each of us had our own lines that we're bringing to the table. And then we had a gentleman that was kind of trying to manage all of it and put it together and do a lot of the marketing and all of this, and became overwhelming to him. I won't say things didn't work out. It didn't work out for everybody. We downsized a little bit, maybe lowered our expectations, and then that's when she and I just kind of jumped in and just took it and went with it. But it was a collective group that came up with the name. We like stock because obviously you can go anywhere with that.
Right.
Obviously, we're catering to stock shows. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the stock market, everybody knows the stock market.
Right.
You know, it's kind of a play on words, if you will, but it fit us. And it just, as we were trying to come up with the names, and, you know, just like anything, you brainstorm, there were all kinds of ideas. And then somebody, and I don't even know who, threw out the stock market. And it just, everybody went, oh, yeah, there it is.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, wow. I love it. That's a great name. And there's so much in a name. So when did this start? How long has this business been going on?
The actual start of it, like she said, would have been the FFA convention in Indianapolis in October of 19 would have been the actual first launch of it.
Okay.
The idea started probably in about July or August of 19 is when we started putting this together.
Okay. And Olivia, did you say that you opened a store in the mall specific for when the national convention came?
Yes, the stock market, when it was the collective group of us, there was a group of us, and yes, we had a store in Circle Center Mall downtown.
Okay.
For the national convention. Okay,
now I'm very interested in this. I've been to the national convention a few times, and I spent all my time right there at the Bankers Life Fieldhouse and at the actual convention center and stuff like that. I never went to the mall. Is this another venue, or do you just get a ton of overflow of people going to the mall during the convention?
I think they had a lot of kids would come to the mall because when we were there, because I would work in there, and the kids had their free time in between sessions, and they could go to the mall. It was a big thing. There's other shopping, there's food places there, and they could get there through the tunnels and underground. So they didn't even have to go outside.
No
And
kidding.
I think that we did advertise over there, so
Okay.
it was pretty neat.
Man, there's so much I didn't know when I was there. I never went through a tunnel to a secret mall where I could buy show clothing. Huh. Interesting stuff. Very cool. Okay, so somebody along the line recognized that there's a market out there. And you guys were initially in a bigger group. It's interesting how these things kind of thin down. It started as a bigger group, and the two of you had the persistence to keep going.
Yes.
Simplicity.
Okay, so simplifying the process that made it easier. Well, man, you have a very long line or a long list of shows that you've been going to and places you've gone to already. You haven't even been in this quite 2 years yet. If this all started for the national convention in 2019, that's been a lot of traveling over the last year and a half.
Yes, it has. We've not done all
Now,
of it
when we
personally.
say that, when they talked about the Arizona and the California shows, that when it was still the collective group, and we really didn't ourselves personally function a lot of that. And that's what I say, simplifying. At this point, we went down to Texas this year for the National Finals Rodeo.
Okay.
We had a booth there, and that turned out good. We were paired up with another lady from California, and we split the booth space, and it worked good. But I don't know that we don't have the time in our lives to go to every single show. We're going to probably more focus on the Midwestern shows and stay a little more close to home because it's a commitment if you're going to load up and head to California.
Yeah, it's a huge commitment.
And we probably don't have that. We, moving forward, if there's more people that want to jump in and help, or if we can partner up with other people to help facilitate that, it might happen. But we can't just take off for 2 or 3 weeks at a time and do that ourselves.
Who'd you guys share booth space with at the NFR?
It's Glamour Cat.
Oh,
She's
okay.
in California.
I was just curious. We had interviewed a mother-daughter team that had a booth at NFR, selling not clothing, but selling like antiques and stuff like that. I wondered if it possibly them, but it wasn't them. Okay,
Nope.
Very interesting. So you guys all kind of figured out there was a demand for this clothing. Why was nobody else filling this demand?
There are lots of other boutiques that do it, and we had some of the other boutiques that helped us with it.
Okay.
I think it's just, one, the dude shoes sell really well. And I think a lot of it is just your marketing, and depends where you go and what shows you're able to go to, and if you're willing to stay there and stand in the cold or deal with that.
So do you own a pair of dude shoes yet?
No, I got to be honest with you. Today's
I tried to tell you something.
Today's the first time I'm hearing of dude shoes.
We should send you some.
What are they?
They're
house slippers that the world says is okay to wear in public.
Okay, I think I might have an idea what they are. I'm a 47-year-old father who plays with cows for fun. So, yeah. Oh, no, that looks like something you'd wear like in Miami or something. Those are sweet.
They're lightweight and supposedly they float on water. Now, in the Midwest, the kids showing them.
They're showing in those. No kidding.
Yeah.
So the days of wearing Justin Ropers, that's just over.
No, that's not over.
That might have been ended 20 years ago. I don't know.
It has evolved a little bit.
Oh, that's interesting. This whole world of fashion in the show industry is fascinating because these kids, they're so focused on the animals, but then all of a sudden they're getting out in front of hundreds and a lot of times thousands of people to do what they're doing. And if they feel good about their appearance, that's one less thing they've got to worry about, I would assume. Tori, do you feel that way?
Yeah, I guess so. I always want my animals to look good, the best first, but I also kind of care what I look like.
She does.
I put my animal's hair before mine, so I I think I give more attention to my animals before myself, but they're not going to agree with that.
Like any good exhibitor, I agree. So I'm just thinking of my own experience. My daughter shows, and if she's out in the arena and she's worried about the way she looks, and not that she's obsessed with that, but you know what I mean, then it's a distraction, a distraction away from possibly getting a ribbon in showmanship, possibly having your animal set up to make it look as good as possible for the judge. I mean, all of that. So it's just one of those things that I don't know that I've ever really considered, but I could see how it might make a difference.
When I'm in the ring, when I step foot in the ring, I don't really think about myself. Really, I kind of zone in with the judge, and only my one job is to get my animal looking its best. So once I hit the ring, I don't really care about what I look like, but if I'm out of it, I kind of care.
All right.
There's lots of planning that goes on beforehand.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Tori, I love your honesty, but you're killing my sales pitch here. You're just destroying it. It's just not that good a sales pitch to start with, obviously.
That's 5 hours before she goes into the show ring.
Okay. Well, very cool. So, I mean, had you guys ever been involved in retail before you started this?
Yes. Years ago, my mother and I owned a bridal shop.
Okay.
But that was been years ago. And then I have worked for the other boutiques that people I've been friends with before.
Okay. Well, that's really interesting, Olivia, because there's a lot of people out there who recommend when you want to start a business, go work in that business for a while so you can kind of learn how to do it, some of the mistakes to avoid and things like that. So I would assume your expertise from doing that's really played into you guys being able to develop this.
I would think so. Because there's things I've learned and thought maybe I would rather do it this way than their way. So that has helped.
Okay. Very interesting. And now, aside from farming, Kyle, had you ever been involved in an entrepreneurial venture like this before?
Absolutely not.
Okay. So how has this gone for you? Do you find yourself to be a natural born entrepreneur, or was there a little bit of kind of hesitancy to overcome before diving in?
It makes her happy.
Enough said. Okay. I get it. Well, how about you? So, Olivia, how about you? Had you owned your own business before you started this?
When my mom and I had the bridal shop when I was a lot younger. I was in my 20s when we had it, so I shared it with her. It does allow us to have more free time because, I mean, since we don't have a storefront per se, it's just an online presence and the trailer. If we want to go somewhere or the kids have something to do, it's not like I have to worry about finding someone to work or closing the store where somebody just walk into anytime.
Gotcha.
So the flexibility of it is really nice. Or sometimes we've had people come shop at 11 o'clock at night because they called me and said, "Can we come look?" I said, "Sure."
Okay. That's interesting.
When you ask, no, this isn't my thing. This is set up for these two more than me. I'm the driver. I'm the setter-upper. I'm the carrier. I'll help with all that stuff. I'm not going to pick out the clothes because it would be a hot mess if that's not my thing. That's not what I'm into. I help facilitate the groundwork of it. They do the any social media, any purchasing, any of that. That's all them. I don't do that.
Okay. Well, let's talk about social media for a minute. So how are you marketing? How are you getting the word out and growing this business?
We have a Facebook page. We have the Instagram page. We go to just the shows and word of mouth mostly right now. We've done advertised in a few places locally, but so far that's been about all that we've done.
Okay. And how do you find the clothing that you're going to sell? How do you pick, I don't know, the fashion that's going to work this year in the show ring?
We guess a lot or just hope. We kind of watch to see what other people are wearing. I mean, there's your basic 7 jeans and your trouser jeans that are the standard Angry Rabbits things that kids wear. We sell some bells too, which is like a bell-bottom jean, which I don't recommend to show in necessarily, but outside the ring, a lot of kids do wear them.
Okay.
We do carry the 7s, the Graces, the other jeans are just a good jean for the girls to show.
Okay. And why don't you recommend the bell-bottoms?
The showing?
Yeah.
You step on them.
You step on them.
Oh, okay.
You collect shavings, you collect dirt in them.
Gotcha. Okay.
We Those little girls like
I
to wear
love
them.
to wear them.
And I wear them too.
Wear them anytime I'm not showing.
Okay, got it. But they could mess you up in the arena, in the show ring.
Yeah, they're just so wide at the base of the ground that I trip over them myself when I'm just walking. So add an animal onto that, and it just could cause lots of issues.
Got it. Okay. Now, Olivia, is this now your full-time profession, or are you working outside of this as well?
This is what I do most of the time. There's a few things I do to help other people out. I used to work at a dentist office. Here lately, because of COVID, they become short-staffed because of COVID. So I'm currently going there a couple days a week and filling in.
Got it. Okay. Really?
It's my primary job. How's that?
I gotcha. So where are you guys wanting to take this? Do you want to grow this? Do you want it to become your full-time career? Where do you want to take this?
We'd like for it to be. We're hoping that we can go to our Indiana State Fair and the FFA convention happens, so we can go to those places. We have plans to go some places like the Expo, Pork Expo is supposed to be in Indianapolis this year. We're planning to go to that. The Indiana Beef Congress has been rescheduled to February this year, so we're planning on doing that if that happens. So hopefully things happen and we can get our online presence a little bigger and we will ship anywhere. So we will happily ship people whatever they want to order if they order off online.
Mm-hmm. And are you finding that most shows these days, they all have this component to them? They all have some sort of an area where people can set up and sell and do things like that? Is that part of all the shows?
Most of them.
Mm-hmm. And
unless there's restrictions with the number of people being there.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm out here in Idaho, and we have some jackpot shows and stuff like that going on through the year. But really, for us, the major thing is going to be our fairs. But I know back in the Midwest and where you're at, there's big shows going on all the time, isn't there?
Yeah, show every weekend here.
Every weekend. Wow. And that's just an opportunity for you guys to be out there every weekend, if you wanted to be, I suppose.
Yes, and that's the beauty of it. We can choose. If we don't want to go every weekend, we don't have to.
Sure. Now, when you're going to these shows and you're getting booth space, like you mentioned, sharing booth space at the National Finals Rodeo, is that like your biggest expense in doing this? Is that a large part when you're trying to rent that booth space?
That, and when you go that far, the travel expense.
Okay. So travel and the booth space. And then do you get new inventory each and every time that you're going out to one of these, or do you have a stock of inventory that you're taking until you, I guess, run out and have to reorder?
Both.
We're always ordering new things.
Okay.
But as you know, with COVID, ordering them is one thing, getting them is another.
Yeah.
Timing them. We order things and we don't see them for 2 or 3 months sometimes.
Oh, man.
Where I think 2 years ago, you ordered them, and when they said, hey, you'll see it in 14 days, you saw it in 14 days. Now they tell you 14 days, and it might be 14 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, that could put you in a bind for sure. Interesting. Now, do you see a lot of the same people from show to show to show?
Yeah.
And
yes.
Does that
especially local in let's say the Indiana and bordering states are jackpot type shows? Yes. It's not always the same people, but there's always a lot of the same people there.
Okay. Does that enable you to develop some regular customers and some people to come back to you over and over and over again?
Just as of recently, and I think we saw it a lot this last weekend, we had several people come in to shop, and we are starting to get a lot of repeat customers and a lot of people that are starting to recognize and remember and want to come back. And that is, it's taken this much time. There's a lot of people that are starting to recognize that and coming back. Okay.
Very interesting. Well, let's talk about your business formation here for a second. So obviously there's the two of you as co-owners, I guess. Did you form an LLC or do anything like that, or did you remain like as sole proprietors? How did you handle that part of it?
Yes, it is an LLC, which is actually function under TSM1, because at the beginning of this, the stock market was the like I said, that was started as we're going to carry several vendors. So we just went with TSM1, which would be the stock market one.
Okay.
We formed that as an LLC, and then we just filed that when that wasn't working out. We just filed a DBA to be the stock market.
Okay.
Yes, we do operate that as an LLC to keep that separate from any of the farm stuff or anything like that. I also run my farming operation under an LLC, and that way I can keep everything separate.
Got it. Okay. And was it just the simplicity of keeping things separate that made you want to form the LLC, or were you concerned about any liability issues or anything like that?
Absolutely. I mean, that's why there's the farming LLC.
Okay.
You know, that's that way, you know, heaven forbid something happen or something go crazy. We all know why LLCs were formed, and that is a large portion of it. It's, you know, we're not to the place, we're not a big enough business, we're worried about tax problems yet. But
sure.
There are there, but currently just to separate it so when we do file taxes that we can keep everything in that business separate of the others and not have throw up any red flags for doing things not properly.
Mm-hmm.
And the other side of that would be, yes, the liability side. We do have a lot of exposure to this business. I don't want that crossing over into my farming business.
Got it. Okay. Well, Olivia or Tori, what's your best-selling product? Is it the dude shoes? Oh, did it happen again?
I would think so. It's dude shoes, probably.
Yeah. Okay.
It's the jeans.
The jeans. So we have a lot of the jeans and the dude. It just depends, I guess, on what kind of inventory and dude shoes we have. Because I either have a lot of dude shoes because I just got a shipment in, or I don't have very many.
Okay. All right. That's really interesting. And is there anything that we can be expecting? Anything emerging that we should be looking for? I don't know, this coming season, this spring, this summer?
We're working on getting some more jeans and maybe getting some different patterns of jeans. I'm always working on getting more dude shoes as I can get them.
Okay.
We're talking about doing maybe a little bit of other makeup lines, a few other things too, but that's just still discussion.
Okay. Interesting. Well, I was going to ask you about that. If you've offered more products or you've expanded your product line or things like that since you started. But if you haven't, it sounds like you're thinking about doing that, huh?
Yes. I mean, we're always looking and listening for the new ideas or looking to see what the next trend is going to be to what we need to stay on top of. We do a lot of that.
Okay. Now, you kind of already talked about the fact that you can go out to shows when you want, but you don't necessarily have to every week. Is there a particular time of year where you find yourself being the busiest?
Summer, hopefully. Last summer was not as busy as we thought it could be. We're hoping this summer is busy because there's a lot of shows we did not go to. We did not go to Expo in Iowa. Did end up happening, I guess, in some form, but because of other things going on, we didn't take the booth out there. Our state fair did not happen with vendors. Mm-hmm. Louisville this year did not happen. Well, they allowed 2 vendors, I guess, the entire facility. So we're hoping that summer is busy.
Okay. Well, when COVID is not going on and all the dust kind of settles and you get just to focus on talking to your customers and selling products, are you guys having fun?
Yes.
That's great.
We do.
That is awesome. Well, you guys,
he has a perch that sits outside the trailer. He can sit outside and talk to people all day.
Yeah, it's different than being on a tractor. Now you got somebody to visit with, right?
Yes.
And like I say, when we're talking about going to shows and events and we talk about the common interests with the people we're selling to, everybody that walks through there, you can have a conversation with and you have a relationship with automatically because they are there for the same reason you're there. So conversations become easy.
Absolutely. You guys, this is exciting. I'm excited for you. And this has been a lot of fun. Where can people go to find you? Where are you at again? Just give us the rundown of website, social media, all of that for the listeners.
Okay. We are in Crawfordsville, Indiana, and I'm going to make sure to get to my tell you the website and Instagram. The Instagram is the Stock Market Boutique. And the website is thestockmarketboutique.com. And the Facebook is the Stock Market Boutique.
So it's all the Stock Market Boutique.
Okay. That is awesome. Well, you guys, good luck to all of you. And thank you so much for coming on and sharing this with us today.
All right. Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for being here, everybody, and thank you to the Stock Market Boutique for joining us on the show today. Hey, we would love it if you would click that subscribe button and be one of our subscribers here on the Off-Farm Income Podcast YouTube channel, and we'd love to connect with you on all of our social media platforms as well. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, everybody. And as always, enjoy your journey to the ultimate lifestyle business, agriculture.